Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. This is going to be a fun one, I think. We've got some news to break here for us, for what we've got working on, looking into the future a little ways. We've got some conversation to be had with Dylan Simonton, who had a little bit of redemption, if you will. It's getting interesting already here in the early going of the Unified Point Series. We're going to be touching on some goodwill that Marcus Hayes and Mike DeFrecia and that whole group have been very diligently working on. So we'll be getting into that a little bit. It's 386. We're shot out of a cannon. Hopefully everybody is doing well and staying healthy. And in your neck of the woods at home, it's been an interesting one, to say the least.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's
still not the button. You asked if I broke the computer. Yep, wow. It's all broke now. There we go.
Is that like ominous foreboding?
I don't know. We haven't gotten into literary devices this year, but I'm going to use this as an example if it does prove to be.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we were working on the types of clouds ranging from ground level to 20,000 feet. And I don't know if you've ever tried to hear third graders say the word cumulonimbus and alto cirrus. It's a whole lot of fun. Anyway, go on.
No, I was just... No, it's been a good week, man. Short week. You know, we had our show last Wednesday, and I watched the 24 Hours of Daytona. Well, some of it I went to bed at like midnight because I'm old. But
I watched the end of it. It was fun.
Yeah. They were pretty nervous about the temperatures and what that was going to do to tires, and it was neat. Not many NASCAR guys are still trying to dial stuff in for their new cars. Steve Letarte they asked him because he was up. His deal was he was going to stay up for the whole race, and he said he was walking down the pit lane at 4:00 in the morning. He was getting the feel and wanting to crew chief. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him together with Junior and a couple other guys next year, maybe with the car down there. So it was cool. I watched some football over the weekend. I was a little shocked by the Kansas City game, but that's why they play the game.
The end of the Rolex 24 was fascinating, that Helio Castroneves can be that good still at 40 at this point in his career. And
yeah, he's not bad.
He's joined such a rare group. I think there's only 3 other people that have won the Rolex 24 and Indy. And that's Al Unser, AJ Foyt, and Castroneves. And now Castroneves,
Mario Andretti.
Did he win the?
Yep.
Oh,
he was one of the Grand Marshals. They had 6 Grand Marshals to represent the 60 years of it.
But to do it in the same year.
Oh, same year? Yeah, no. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, right? I mean,
that's not bad.
No. I that's insane when you think about those types of cars.
Those cars are so awesome. I'm trying to a buddy and I are talking about going to watch them run at Watkins.
I rode in one of those.
Really?
Yeah. For one of the Continental Tire promotional things. It was the same as when they had the Salents at the Glen.
Yep.
And they had a promotional media day thing, and they have a 2-seater Daytona prototype. We ran on the whole track.
Wow.
2 laps. And I feel really dumb for even doing it. I brought a GoPro camera, and I was worried more about trying to make sure the GoPro was right to really even enjoy the race or the run. But that is not a place to be if you're even remotely claustrophobic. And I found out that I was. I didn't. It was.
Yeah, those cars are pretty tight.
It's cool. You got to see them once.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that's my wife is like, "Why are you watching these?" And I'm like, "Because there's not much more sophisticated, automobiles or race cars in the world. I mean, probably the only thing more advanced would be a Formula One.
Yeah,
that'd be the only thing.
Yep." And it's hard to make fiberglass go that fast.
Yes, and they do it well. I was impressed though; they were bumping and banging and nerfing at the end of that race.
Oh my gosh! I assume you're talking about the GT.
Yeah, the
GT
Porsches were
cars.
bouncing off each other.
That was an awesome finish.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But it was neat, you know. And it's something a few years ago I just was flipping through the channels and found it. Lucas Oil, the late models, they teased us all. They had one race on Thursday night, and I haven't seen anything since. But if you get MAV TV Plus for the low price of $99 a year, you can watch it all. So I didn't do that. But
You did not.
I did
Or
not.
Did.
No,
You didn't.
I didn't.
No. I understand. I did not see any of that either. It'd be fun to dive into that, but I've got Peacock and I've got YouTube TV, and we're completely spectrum free at this point.
We actually funny story. The night of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, I heard it advertised, and all of a sudden it was on Peacock, and I'm like, oh, well, you know, pull it up, and it's on Peacock Advanced or Peacock Special or Peacock something, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So I ended up getting it, and I'm like, well, if I get it, I can watch this and Daytona, and then we'll get rid of it. But there's some neat things on that on Peacock, so
I enjoy it. The entire WWE Network library is on there.
yeah, I did watch The Last Ride again for about the 10th time.
Yeah.
It's like the night I got it, I watched it again, so that was pretty cool.
The Rumble was this weekend. That was pretty good.
Yep.
John Balmus, one of the co-hosts from the long ago 31st Lap, he used to come into the studio, and he ended up getting a job with Dirt Car. He was hospitalized over the weekend, but he said he was doing okay. Had some pneumonia issues. He posted on Facebook, so I feel okay talking about it. And he was camped out because the hospital had the coverage. So he watched every minute of the Rolex 24. So that was
Nice.
He loves that race. I mean, that race for him is right up there. Like it's the Chili Bowl, and then it's the Rolex.
Yeah, I fully intended on watching more of it, but I didn't. I had planned on getting a nap during the day, honestly, so I could stay up. Because the most interesting part of it to me is at night. Because A, the temperature goes down, and B, like when they're on the front stretch and the lighting is like the super lighting, it's awesome. But then when they get to the back stretch and they're winding, like all it is those lights on the front of those cars. Mm-hmm. And they're running, 120, 130, 140, whatever. So it makes it really interesting, but I dropped the ball on that. And like I said, I only watched till like midnight, so. But it was neat.
Ricky Taylor? That was second place.
Yep.
They won. Going into that race, they'd run 3 in a row for the last 5.
It's not bad.
I mean,
that's like Steven Sickles.
That's like, yeah, it is.
It's just like Steven Sickles. That's something he'd do.
Ranks right up there.
But no, it was neat.
I came in tonight, and I've been thinking a lot about what you said about the ground up restorations and stuff last week. Mm-hmm. And as I came in tonight, I realized, and I don't really even know what hit the tripwire as I was walking up, that I have never driven my Newport to a podcast.
No.
I've never driven it to a podcast. And it's been on the road. I've driven it. It's been around. But I've never driven any of them, for that matter, that I had to a podcast, especially one of the Derby ones.
Yeah.
We didn't start this until 2013.
Yep.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
I do remember driving it to the Seneca County Fair one year when I was announcing. That was fun to roll in with that.
With the Newport? Or
I had the Newport one year, and I had the 300 one year.
Yeah. That's cool.
We're going to have to try and change that this year.
Yeah. Get out and get her running. And
I'm going to call up Dylan Simonton here. So last week, after the show had gone off the air, I got a message and then a subsequent phone call. Hey, Dylan, let me put you in. From Alex Vasco.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to be seeing, after a very quick and easy conversation, we're going to be seeing some highlights and some scheduling information for All For Him Racing as they work through their 2022 schedule.
Cool.
That'll be on the show on a regular basis. And if you watch the corners on some of the finished product on YouTube, maybe once in a while, you're going to see Crash Course logo show up there. So that's kind of fun and exciting. Looking forward to things. It's always nice to have produced content, like that, the highlight reels. So that's very exciting going forward for us and for Alex too. Alex has always been a good guy. And
yeah, I was just gonna say, Alex is a great dude. He does great stuff for Derby. He came and introduced himself 2 years ago down to Morris. Just a good guy. So yeah, that's cool to be in with him.
Yep, it's very, very neat. So that's some exciting news, something that folks can look forward to. There's something that's also going to make him put some effort into doing the highlight reels, because he said that's something he's never really invested time into. Although he knows that
I'm waiting for the hardest hits of 2021.
So that's one of the topics that we talked about. We also talked about if you do it as you go, it's a whole lot easier than having to go back. That's how I used to.
You
do
wouldn't
the
know.
intros.
You've done some stuff like that.
He goes, that's if you just mute a tray and make it blind, so you can just cut that stuff and drop it in, and then when you're done, just grab those clips and put it on the next thing, and you're done. He goes, yeah, this conversation should have happened a little bit earlier than today.
I don't know anything you just meant or said, but I agree with you wholeheartedly.
It's all right. You don't have to know. Just enjoy the ride, right?
Absolutely.
Dylan Simonton is a fellow who's enjoying the ride right now. It was took a little bit of time to get there, though. Dylan was able to cash in at the Redneck Rumble in the stock class in a car that's been built for a little while, man. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. I appreciate that. About time I junk it.
You've been hanging around with that car since the fall. Tell us a little bit about what got you to the point where you were able to win at Sturgis.
Well, had some bad luck at Topeka. Was pitted pretty far away, and nobody's really called. Just a lot of stuff going on one weekend, for only so many days. But ended up getting a spot last minute for Sturgis and taking one of my buddies' spots. They couldn't have it done, and I was tired of looking at the car, so I was like, let's roll. And I went down there and got lucky, I guess, and got to battle it out with some of my best friends that I met through the Derby world.
And that scored some valuable points for the Unified Point Series. So Dylan is now one of the many drivers. We'll dive into that here in a minute. Take me through the Derby itself. Well, first let's talk about the car. The car in Topeka missed the bell, so the car's built. Did you have to do anything to the car to get it ready for the show in Sturgis? Was there anything you had to add, take apart, or was it pretty much a carbon copy?
I had to add, we were allowed more body bolts and some hood plates and trunk work and all that stuff. A little bit of some gasoline protection bars and, nothing too crazy. A couple nights worth of work and just double checking everything. It gave me enough time to go over everything one more time and was ready to rock.
So take me through the show itself. I mean, everybody. So is it a case where it's easier to drive against your friends and not worry about it? Or because we always hear about people when they drive out of town, it's easier when you don't know anybody. You said you had a bunch of friends out there. So what was that atmosphere like?
It's always the same game plan we have usually, every weekend is we'll work together. When it comes down to it, we're going to have fun and battle it out, It's Derby. And that's about all what happened. I made a bad decision on tires on the back. I thought the track was going to be – I never got to look at the track before the Derby, and I always, from, previous years, I was like, wow, pretty solid track. I'll just run my solids. And it was a tough battle with solids for a long time until that track started getting a little tackier and harder.
When you're talking about the track changing, we were talking a little bit before the show about the track down in the concrete surface and what that surface can be like, and you're running in the elements outdoors or you're running indoors, and you've got the changes in the track with running with a hard surface, or if it's too sandy and the car's sink and everything. There's so much that goes into
how crazy
tire
is
choice,
that?
right? I mean,
how crazy is that? Seriously.
Well, that's the thing. We were only allowed 31 spines in Topeka, and Sturgis, I believe it was any rear end, and I was like, no, I'm not going to change it. I'll just throw my solids on. I didn't have any beadlocks built at the time, so I just said I'll go with the solids because they're smaller, they're harder to hit, and be a little easier on my 31s because they are an actual very light solid tire that we put together.
I mean, did you ever think that we were going to be at a point where we're going to have to put a tire rule in place so that it doesn't turn into late models?
It's crazy, and but I mean that's the thing, like you said, everywhere you go, I mean tracks are different, inside to outside, to muddy to soft to hard to, and I mean we've seen it. We've seen from Blizzaks in Minnesota to we've seen remember the one year they had them at Topeka when it was soft, rally tires for like a rally sport car. So we've to the old school 715s, to
Right.
the hard, the curb kickers, to the filled tires, and it's crazy. I mean, but it's honestly getting to the point where it's one of those small things that adds up to a big thing. You have to have the right tires. You're going to sit there and spin, or you're going to dig yourself a hole, or it's crazy, man. It just it's just more of the evolution of demolition derby.
Right, agreed. Yeah, you pretty well have to have a set of tires for no matter what occasion or whether indoor, outdoor, it don't matter. It always never hurts to have 3 or 4 sets with you along, because you never know.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know, like, the one year, Siopas and you're killing me. In Florida, remember they burn off I think all of them burn off a set of brand new curb kickers on the asphalt. They ran down there once, and I don't think they'd wet it down, and they went out there and burned off instead of just smoking them. So it's crazy.
We saw the same thing happen someplace else where it was a track surface that was more sandy. It might have been when we went to Arkansas one time. Because the tires down there, I seem to remember like people coming off the track and the tires in some of the stocker class had gotten bald.
Right, yeah, that Arkansas track, I mean, that'd be a good track for rallies itself right there, too. I know one year I went down there, it's been ages ago, and I ended up using like a snow tire type of a tire for the back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Awesome to think of, man. Just one more thing to dial your car in or out.
Absolutely.
What were you doing with the body bolts? You said that you were allowed more body bolts or just allowed to replace them?
Yeah, at Blizzard Bash, we were allowed to just change our core sport body bolts. And at Sturgis, we were allowed to change 6. So I just went ahead and did 6, 2 in the trunk, and then 2 crush box body bolts, and try to tie them into the hood a little bit, and then just give myself another hood bolt, too, with it.
I like what you're doing with that, right?
Yeah. It definitely makes a difference. I like to try to do my mid-rail body bolt because I've had that happen in a stock class before, where the middle of the mid-rail's given out. But this was a pretty clean car, so I had faith in it.
Right on. Imperial gas tank mount trick, right?
Maybe. We can take care of not having frame rails.
Yep. That's I was talking about the full frame one.
Oh, okay.
You know where that? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Not quite apples to apples here though.
Yeah.
Where's this rank in terms of the Derby career to pull down a win at a high profile event like this? Everybody looks to it coming out of the holiday break, and now it's been part of the Unified Series. I think all 3 years that the Unified Series has been out there, and the guys at Redneck with Wicked Derbies, they do an awesome job. Where's this rank in terms of the wins?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. I knew it was going to be tough when it come down to all of us. I mean, heck, we had, Buddy, Chase, Holden. I mean, there was a lot of good drivers out there, and I knew it was going to be tough at the end. And Luke Borland, he was out there. I mean, they're all tough drivers, good people. We were supposed to have Trevor, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, he ended up running the metric light in his bone stock car.
Nice.
But it was cool. It was awesome.
Was there a point where you knew that it was yours?
No, not. I was sitting in my head like, man, I'm not giving up. But Chase he's looking good, and once I seen he started having some issues with his wiring or whatever was going on there, I tried to take advantage of any chance I could whenever it would die, and just try to put him up in the corner or do anything possible. And when I seen those back tires off the ground, I was like, I'm not letting him off today. I'm sorry, buddy, but you're not coming up.
Yeah, that's always a good feeling.
Is the where's the check now?
The check is in the shop next to the other Happy Gilmore check.
There you go. That's awesome. If I ever win one of those, it's gonna be in my living room for a while. Just
Me and Cody were actually joking about it too. I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a cold one. If I do win, if I get lucky enough to win, I'm gonna have to use mine for kindling to get a fire going to keep it warm." And when I did one, I was like, "Yeah, that's that idea. I'm totally kidding."
funny.
So I don't know if you saw, but the Realistic Derby Project is doing a season-long award play of the game with Derby Tees and Ty Richards in the two-man class. They ended up pulling that down. So Ty scored points again. So Ty is breaking out to the leader. Actually, let's just do this quick while we're on the topic. That way we can all see it at the same time as we're talking about it. Upcoming shows: February 19th is going to be Carolina's Blue Ridge Bash in Wytheville, and then we're back with Wicked on the Unified Point Series on the 18th and 19th in Sturgis. Then Dead Man April 15th and 16th, and after that, just good luck finding an open weekend. It's off to the races from there. No Mercy Tuesday in Cumberland, and then April 22 and 23rd is Spring X, and then April 30th. That brings us through the end of April. Hardcore's Compact Throwdown in Stoneboro. As we said, Ty Richards, he's got 30 points. He's out in front right now. Corey Buddy has jumped up to second place. He's got 16. Michael Kelly with 15. Trevor Jones with 14. Vugie Barnes is tied with Bill Miller. They both have 12. And then there's 8 drivers tied with 10 points each in 7th. We didn't have space on the screen to
get it all that.
But it's having the change of the points for based on the feature purse money. If you're running through heats and feature, you can see that this already had an effect here, and it's not going to be an easy one to come out with this year.
Wasn't Mark going to cut down the number of shows he did this year?
I think it's at like 28 shows. So while that might help, I think he's tightened the stakes up a little bit, so to say. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it makes it more fair. It makes it more fair for all the drivers, especially for the big car guys. You know, it gives them a chance too, because I mean it's just hard to build that many cars. I mean, look at Butch trying to build that many cars back to back and run every show with mod cars and stock full size cars. Like, I couldn't imagine doing that. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting as this goes forward, especially with as tight as it is now, because we're going to get into a point where, like Dylan was saying, that wash, rinse, repeat isn't as easy for the full size car guys, and those compact cars are going to start running. You know, the Dixie Cups are disposable. They're one at a time. You put the guts from one into the other one, and off you go. Mm-hmm. Not to minimalize it. I know we're going to get hate mail for that. But those guys are going to be able to gain some ground back as in the middle part of the season. So those 10-point totals are going to add up. Once the season
starts off, it'll get wild for them.
Steven must be stockpiling and building now, and then just going to hit like every show from like April on.
It's entirely possible. Or he's going to be like,
that was fun. I ain't never doing that again.
That's what things for me. All the pony shows that I'm signed up for right now, it's like all new style shows, and I'm like, man, I'm down to pretty well old iron, and I'm out here trying to find new style Fords now. I'm like, well, just when I thought I was never going to run Fords anymore, here I am.
That's, for me, that'd be a good problem to have, is get rid of all those Fords and just be down to old iron. That would, that's a good problem to have.
I can't complain about having wagons and stuff, and especially whenever I start running low and start stealing some of my dad's pile too.
This was the car that we talked to you about when we were in Topeka and we met up with you in the parking lot and everything, and I can't remember what the engine combination was in this car.
It's a 383 stroker, 400 turbo, stroker built by Carl Klimke Motorsports, and the transmission is a Bob Casey transmission, an original, one of the old builds. It's actually Jacob Winkler set up now. My buddy, he builds with me, and he ended up letting me run his whole drivetrain at Topeka, so I didn't have to pull my wagon apart.
That's cool.
On the topic of wagons, did you see Bill Miller's car?
No.
Bill Miller's got one. I think it was Bill that's got one for it's a You Can Win It program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually my dad's old wagon from New Mexico. It's Russ Free Wagon old.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it's insane.
My dad drove it on the trailer on a semi trailer. Actually, yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow,
that's insane.
And Bill said, "Hell with it, I'm stripping it."
That's great. Yeah, I'd thought about maybe running a wagon someday, but with the prices they are now, I'm never running a GM wagon. I see, unless it's just like a '78 Caprice wagon or something, but I'm never getting one of the good ones. That's for sure.
You can run one for $100, but you got to be lucky.
Well, I'm not lucky, so I won't be running one.
Me neither.
Oh goodness.
Your dad had that for a little while, didn't he?
Yeah, he had it for quite some time, and Bill actually bought quite a bit of cars off of it once. And my dad's so busy with running the business and stuff that he doesn't get much time, a.k.a. I don't have much time to build him cars like I used to.
I kind of figured that when you said that big check was going to be hanging in the front window of the business instead.
Yeah, a couple of them have sat in there for a while, but this one went straight to the shop. Even though I told my little one that I was going to put it in his room, I'm sure that'll change come the weekend.
Oh, I was going to say you gotta make good on that promise there.
Absolutely.
That's you got to feel bad for Dad. I mean, when business starts getting in the way of Derby, and that just, I mean, what's up with that? We got to put Derby out there.
Exactly. You only live once. You can't work your life away.
True.
That's what I try to tell them.
Man, we were talking about those tires, and I was remembering when they wet the track down in Topeka. It was one of the years that Team Kansas won, and when it started out, it was almost muddy, and it was just like Weedsport, man.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that ran in, and it started taking black. It was
Your tires were squealing. Life was good. Yeah, that's. And I mean, we've seen them do that. I mean, you know, I haven't been out there in a couple of years, but you know, like after the show, they'll go out and break the track up, and then they'll water it down. But man, they pack it back in, and that thing comes back like, whoo! Yeah, it's they've got that figured out.
Absolutely. Dylan, man, so what's next? You said that you were signed up for a couple points shows, and you're thrashing to find some new iron. What do you got in store?
I think, I guess Cat's out of the bag. I guess we're gonna be at a team show, there in Sturgis. Okay. And me and Cody are on a team there, and me and Cody have also got on at String Explosion in the bone stock class. We're going to be there, and after that, depending on how them two shows go, we'll see where we go from there. May start doing a little traveling with some county fair cars and head out east.
How about that?
That's cool.
Yeah. Frankie's clapping.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Well, that story is kind of the same as what we got from Ty when we were talking about the season opener where he won down in Daytona, where Ty was talking about, you know, you got to kind of see what happens the first couple, and maybe you do decide to take a swing at the points and make a bunch of runs, because it's a whole lot easier to sustain than it is to get up on top once the season gets rolling.
Yeah, definitely. We found that with racing.
That'd be pretty cool. You may see a little T24, 58X, at 42 just out east one weekend. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
You got to go get the points, right?
Got to chase them.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the points, but it would be neat to see what I could do with it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and that gives you another year with all that old iron, because they're going to be running as the new style Fords.
Exactly. They're run it once and then put it in the back 40, and whoever in the crew wants it can have it for county fairs.
And it's neat. I mean, if you know, it's even if you don't, you know, if you follow the points and you don't, even if you don't place, I mean, you know, it's a lot of work, but man, it's got to be fun to just go to all these different places and run against different guys and, you know, see different builds.
It's definitely cool. I've been thinking about it all day. Like, man, it'd still be cool just to try.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, and it's, I mean, I understand. I mean, it gets expensive and it's, you know, it is a lot of work, but it'd be fun to do it once. I mean, I'm too old now, but I mean, if I was younger, it would be fun to go out and do something like that. You know what I mean? It would just something to do once or twice, and you know,
right?
Say, hey, I did it. I tried it.
You're gonna do the whole series? I mean, if you're a younger version of yourself, or you just
I
want to go someplace new.
I don't know if I would do a whole. I mean, it would be a little tougher being up here in New York, but
I think a quarter of the shows are in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I mean, it would be fun to try it. I mean, you know,
right.
If I was into Fords and younger, it would be all right.
And how many cars do you have right now?
One.
And what's the most number of cars you've ever had in your best days?
At once?
Yeah. 3.
No. No, I used to stockpile at my parents' house, probably 5 or 6.
Yeah. So I mean, in your day, you could have made a shot at it, right?
Yeah, could have. I mean, I would have junked 6 cars and been like, yeah, I'm done. But, you know, it would have been fun junking those 6 cars.
Was steering an issue at Sturgis? I was meaning to ask you that earlier. Would anybody, you know, typically we see with that stock stuff, you try to hit wheels, tires, axles, and you were talking a little bit about the handling of the cars and what you had with the rear ends and some of the changes. Did steering become an issue for a multitude of the cars in your class, or did it seem like everything held together okay?
If I had $1 for how many people would come up and said, "Hey man, your front wheels are really angled in," like, yeah, it's fine. Like, little did they know that that's the same A-arms and spindles and ball joints I've been running on the same Fords for I have no clue how long. Like, I remember in the inspection line with Chase, he's like, "I got new ball joints and this and this," and I'm like, "I'm not even going to say what I have in my car because they're going to laugh at me."
I would change them now because it sounds like we just tempted fate.
Yeah, now that I'm bragging about it, they're definitely going on. They're going to stay on it, I'd say.
Right on.
That's cool.
Frankie Guy just sent a thumbs up. Christy Germain said, "Speaking tires, I don't know what's best. All I know is I get a text from Devin telling me how much money to send to Ruts Fab."
I don't know, but Christy's a pretty cool Derby wife. She supports Devin, in his choices and decisions. So that's a pretty cool deal right there.
Devin Powell said Ziz went through a set of tires in Vegas. Trailer tires, stock rims, nothing but the reliable one for Parker Lazenby. So it's a lot of preference.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of what it comes down to is preference. Anybody that you want to make mention of? I know we talked about that original edition transmission combination that you had and the reliable ball joints. Anybody else you want to make mention of?
I would love to thank my lady Parker. I love her. Love you very much, and if without her, I would not be able to do this crazy sport.
Well, we're glad you're doing it.
Absolutely.
Makes for good stories, even if it takes 6 months to wreck the car.
Absolutely, man. I hope to have many more years doing what I love.
Fantastic. Well, good luck at the next one, and maybe we'll be having another conversation then.
Sounds good, man. I'll see you guys in Sturgis.
For sure. Take care, Dylan.
See you guys. Thank you. Bye.
If you want to follow along with everything that's going on with the Unified Point Series standings, protocols, stuff like that, upcoming schedule, up to date online, 527unifiedseries.com. Capital City Carnage is coming up fast, like a month away fast. Hope everybody's ready. The limited weld and street stock weld class, 10,000 to win, weld compacts, and the 2-man extreme, front wheel drive hobo stock, all part of the program, front wheel drive minivan, hobo stock, front wheel drive youth hobo, 2,500 win, paying the top 4. March the 3rd is the limited weld and street stock weld heat draws, limited weld and street stock weld heats and front wheel drive hobo stock. It's going to be March the 4th, and then Twin Bills Championship Saturday, March the 5th, 10 a.m. Limited weld and street stock weld consi, front wheel drive youth and the weld compacts, and then at 7 o'clock, the 2-man extreme class, front wheel drive van hobo, limited weld feature, and the street stock weld feature online, capitalcitycarnage.com. The March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Smash It Demolition Derby is going to be overseeing that one. Also overseeing the Bash for Cash, and they've got another event coming up on April 30th, sandwiched in between all of that stuff. That's also going to be at the Ross County Fairgrounds, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
That's going to be there.
No. That's at where we used to have Washington Courthouse.
Yeah, Washington
Courthouse Crash.
Courthouse Crash. There we go. Bash for Cash this year, May 27th through the 29th. The schedule, May 27th is going to be the Pro Stock Team Heats and SMW Youth Full Size at 7 o'clock. Turn Back the Clock Heats, Pro Stock Team Consti, Youth Minis, and Street Stock Mini on May the 28th, along with the Van Mini Truck and SUV Street Stock Full Size Strength of Tank in the Smash It Mini class. May the 29th is the Farm Trucks, the Street Stock Minis, the Relic class, the Pro Stock Minis, the Smash It Full Size cars, the Pro Stock Team feature, and the Turn Back the Clock feature on the 29th. It's going to be $15,000 to win for the 3-man team show, and then the Turn Back the Clock class, $12,000 to win. Smash It Compacts, Smash It Minis are going to be $10,000 to win again as well. So some pretty serious money changing hands at that one. RPM Group partnering with Crash Course this year. RPMGroupNY.com for details. RPM Group is a progressive waste management company based in Owego. RPM Group started in 2016 and now boasts 2 roll-offs and 6 garbage trucks. I saw he was looking for a Landau. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, he's wants to haul a trailer body back to his shop to make a storage unit.
So adding more and more diversity to RPM Group. Fully certified and licensed, the RPM Group customer base has grown to more than 3,000 people offering curbside trash and recycling services, in addition to asbestos abatement, asbestos surveys, interior and exterior demolition, lead renovation, mold remediation, mold assessment, and dumpster rental. Call for details 607-223-8714, derbybanquet.com. And rounding out this bit here is going to be the Kings Old School Derby Banquet and Swap Meet coming up February the 26th. So that is also just about a month away. 1 o'clock start time, maximum 300 entries. They do need a preliminary head count tomorrow. Tioga Downs on West River Road, Nichols. There's door prizes, raffles, 50-50 car raffle. Elliott Motorsports is going to be making some donations. MOP Derby Products, Smith Metalwork, Jeffy's Fab Farm, Hardcore, all of them scheduled to attend. No charge for vendors and buyers to the swap meet area, $50 adult, $30 for child for banquet room access. Again, preliminary count is February the 1st, final count on February the 15th. The room special, mention Kings of Old School 2022 Derby Banquet, and you get a special $139 overnight room rate at the Tioga Downs. So, now that we've got all of that taken care of,
It's time for the commercial.
yes, I don't have to read that one. It's really cool. And then we want to take a moment to tell you about Jeffy's Fab Farm. We'll be back in a moment.
Jeffy's Fab Farm in Fredericksburg, Virginia specializes in all of your demolition derby needs. We've got you covered from bumper to bumper. Whether you need headers, shifters, harnesses, fueling systems, or complete turnkey setups, Jeffy'sFabFarm.com can help. We've even got a Canadian branch to help our northern customers. With over 16 years in the industry, we've got the knowledge and experience needed to provide the highest quality parts and put you in the winner's circle. Visit our website today or call Jeff at 540-907-3390. Fabby says the best parts come from the farm. Jeffy'sFabFarm.com.
And by the sounds of things, eventually we're going to be getting one of those from Alex Vasco. And
Cool.
like I said, it'll be one of those, or it'll be a highlight reel of whatever's coming out next on the All For Him channel. So it's
Cool.
really cool. I'm very happy for him. He's been able to boost things up the way that he is. Marcus Hayes joining us on the line. Marcus is coming in and tell us a little bit about some of the projects and happenings down there in the greater orbit of all things Mad Mike Derby Shop. Scott Tatters, as we know, Dolores Rae passed away at the end of January and left a big hole in the community down there. A lot of people that were hurting on the wake of her passing. You know, certainly Scott leaves a big hole in his world as well. So our condolences and thoughts out to them. But as so often it does, the Derby world has banded together, and they have done some incredible things overall down there with one. I believe there's one left to go, Marcus. If I'm not mistaken. Mike hasn't done his winning pull yet, but otherwise there's been a ton of stuff changing hands, and it's all been to benefit the Tatters.
Well, Mike has both of his waffles all pulled.
Okay.
I have one more left to go.
I got to read your message
Got a bunch
slower.
of parts in it.
Right. All right. I mean, tell me more. I know you did a great job of getting everything ready. Mike said you got the reins tonight. Take me through. Take me through the stuff that you've kind of prepared for, and then we'll kind of go from there. I know there was a bunch of stuff that you wanted to make mention of as well.
Yeah, basically, I just wanted to list off kind of what we had going, what we've raised, and what we raffled off so far, what we have coming in, just kind of what we've had going on, and kind of give a little bit of a talk about, Scott and his role in the Derby community around here and around Mad Mike's Derby Shop in particular. Mm-hmm. But Mike raffled off a 1976 Malibu wagon, 1996 Crown Victoria, and a 2001 Grand Marquis, all totaling 94 spots at $50 a spot, which we were able to earn $4,700 for Scott.
Nice.
Towards funeral expenses on that one. Our winners that came out of that was, where is it? Just had this down here. No, either way. But we'll, the people that donated it, the wagon was donated by Lenny and Derek Lewis. The Vic was donated by Mike himself, and the 01 Merc was donated by Rich Cipra. So that definitely put us in the right direction to kick off this donation drive. And then he also had some people kick in after that raffle that wanted to donate a couple cars. Had one fellow out of the Carolinas, Streaker. He donated a mid-'70s Lincoln, and then we had Bob Smith here in Northwest Pennsylvania donate a '67 Newport. And those two cars brought in 40 spots at $50 a spot, and brought in $2,000 towards our cause.
Sure.
And then Rich Sipper contacted me, and he wanted to donate a Smith Metalworks pointy replica. And that one there, I was able to get 30 spots sold at $20 a spot, which earned us another $600 towards the goal. And on the and then that just leaves us our parts waffle. We've had a lot of support, concerning Scott. A lot of people reached out. Smith Metalworks, I know they've reached out and made a generous donation. And Mike, he's been all about it, and him and Scott are real tight. And Scott, he's one of those guys. If you have any issues on the track or off the track, he's willing to do anything to help you out. And his wife is the same way. She's more than willing to take anyone in and help them out if they needed, or if they needed anything. That's kind of like whenever I come into the Derby scene back in 2012. I didn't meet the Tatters family till 2015, and they took me in like their own child, and they're like a second family to me. So it kind of hit close to home.
Sure.
And I want to do anything possible to get them as much as I can to help relieve the stress of the financial burden of a funeral and all the services that go along with such.
Right.
But our last raffle that we have here, we got a lot of good stuff donated by a lot of good people. We have a couple steel roof signs. They were donated by Cochran Decals and Roof Signs in Guys Mills, Pennsylvania. We have a pair of solid Smith Metalworks engine mounts for a small block Chevy. They were donated by Jesse Sipra, as well as a set of 8-lug wheel centers. They were also donated by Jesse Sipra, an all-aluminum Chevy radiator, and a pair of painted SS wheels. Those are all fresh, new. Those were donated by myself. And then a pair of brand new 27 8.5 15 skids. Those were donated by Dwayne Rittinger. And a brand new 2.2 compact header. That was donated by Bob Smith. And that waffle there, we are up to 94 spots at $10 a spot, and that one there is going until the 11th. And we're trying to that one we have no limit on, as much as we can pull in, and all the PayPal links, whatever, it all goes straight to Scott. So it's 100% for him, to help in his time of need.
Well, it's a great cause, and Scott's. I think anybody that's been through that neck of the woods, Scott, that whole family, and certainly, like we said, it's a big loss. But as always, the Derby family banding together. The Sipras are awesome people too.
Yes,
and everybody coming together to help offset those costs. I think it's excellent. We've shared the information, and the information has also been shared on my page on Facebook, so you can find details there, or go find Marcus. Worst thing that happens is you make a new friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the worst thing. You're good.
All that information out there, the stuff that's listed and everything, and it certainly is going to go to help a great cause and help offset those costs. Because we all know it feels like every other day I'm opening it up and there's something else awful along these lines that's on my Facebook page, that somebody else is going through the same situation that the Tatters are, and I'd love to help everybody, and hopefully by talking about it a little bit and getting that information out there, we can once again band together as a group and help help Scott get past this. Certainly money doesn't fix anything, but it does relieve that burden a little bit.
Right. Yeah, it don't, but it definitely helps on the, on his whatever he had to pull out.
The
Cause,
stress side, sure.
Yeah, it definitely isn't a cheap, thing anymore, and he's got enough things going on in his life to have to worry about this. So, luckily for them, they got the 22 season to look forward to, and we're gonna kind of dedicate this season to running for her, and kind of run how we always have ran with and around her.
Like you guys needed inspiration to run harder.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember Spring X last year, but I said I hopped out of an 03 and up and hopped back behind the 80s wheel, and I had about 6 hits in that thing, and it was junk.
But those 6 hits were fun, you got to admit.
Oh, they were a blast. I wouldn't give those hits up for a heartbeat.
Oh,
Awesome.
Goodness.
Well, like we said, man, there's certainly a lot of people that were paying attention to this. Hopefully we can help raise a few more bucks for the Tatters and let them focus on what's important, and that's taking care of each other in a real tough time.
Yeah, absolutely. Every bit helps, and like I said, we're gonna come out to Days of Reckoning, and all 3 of us are gonna be on the team and go out there and just make junk of everything we can.
Sounds like a plan.
We certainly look forward to seeing that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us for a little while again. A bunch of different combinations and programs that Marcus is a part of, working closely to help raise some money for Scott Tatters and his family after Dolores Rae passed away back there at the end of January. Certainly keeping that family in our thoughts. And, man, I hope everything goes well, and we certainly look forward to seeing some cars with the noses at 90 degrees here through the course of the summer.
Oh, absolutely. That's a guaranteed.
If there's anything else that we can do, man, don't be afraid to reach out. We'll try and help however we can.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Was there anything else that we might have missed? You did a great job. Mike DeFricia put the reins in good hands tonight.
Well, luckily he put me at his desk in his office, and he even turned the heater on for me.
That's great.
I feel mighty fine here.
Is this at the G&J Radiator Shop, or is this the old shop?
Actually, I'm at the old shop, but I'm currently working at the radiator shop.
How's everything going with that?
It's going good. We're a little slow, but baby steps. We're definitely getting our name out there, and we're on one bill in the week.
Right,
True.
Right on.
We're definitely selling tires, though. We're pumping through at least. I think I've mounted probably about 16 a week.
Wow.
Not
If I had to
bad.
guess.
That's pretty decent.
Keep it moving.
So it's not too bad for just starting out.
Nope,
Sure.
sure isn't.
Awesome. Well, again, we wish you guys the best, and certainly condolences in the loss.
Absolutely. Well, you guys take care, guys.
Yep.
All
Have a
right,
good
Marcus,
night, man.
Thanks for calling in. We'll catch up with you soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks.
See you now. Marcus Hayes. Again, check out his page. Keep an eye on Mike DeFricia's page. Details on all that stuff are out there. Business is going to pick up crazy for them once everybody figures out that radiator repairs are down to like 12 cents. But the problem is the whole town's going to smell like fried eggs.
Yeah, no doubt. Little pepper, a little egg, everything's good.
It's a joke. Calm down. Everybody's become so sensitive. We were talking about how cold it was in that office with Marcus. I don't know if you saw it. Steve Bucknam shared a memory of the camper
No.
that we stayed in Sturgis when mild hypothermia is not as bad as we thought.
No, it isn't terrible.
It
I mean,
was-
it wasn't like you had frostbite.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite "but did you die" moments.
Yeah,
It was,
it's
we stayed up there doing the play-by-play on one of the trips out to Sturgis, and Steve was announcing, and we were on air with Derby Tees. I think that was one of the first shows that we brought live commentary to Derby Tees, and we were staying in a camper that was there on site, and it was freezing. I mean, you could hear the wind howling and everything, and we were wearing everything that we had packed, trying everything possible to just every so often you just say, "Hey, you still there?" Just to make sure nobody froze to death overnight. It was in hindsight, it was a heck of a story. Middle of the show, the wire got pulled out of the router. We were right next to a door, and that same wind at night was blowing through the door, and it was freezing everything. But it was a time made for great stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we heard about Smith Metalworks. Smith Metalworks is going to be having their second Demolition Derby Expo, April 8th to 9th in Mercer, Pennsylvania. The event's going to include several seminars and will feature a collaborative rules meeting. In addition to a number of vendors, there's a lot more information forthcoming. And there's going to be a Derby-related event organized about a mile up the road afterwards. As we're used to with Smith Metalworks, that event is going to be second to none. Full vendors list is going to be available on the Smith Metalworks, WORKS.info page. Various promotions are going to be on hand as well, including Smash It, Iron City, Hardcore Toast, Deadman, and more. Times for the seminars and discussions are TBA at this point. Follow along on Facebook.com, Smith Metalworks, WORX, for more details. Again, experience and passion. Second to none, smithmetalworks.info for the full vendors list. So, that I gotta fix something. Apparently, we have incorrectly labeled our show on the Finger Lakes one page.
Doesn't have enough whatchamacallit to show that it's not spam,
I guess.
is what I've got from Smash It. It's got to be more writing. Can you expand it? Crash Course Derby podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, geez. I never run out of words. It's sort of my thing.
I'm holding back some words.
Yeah, I know. Happens.
Yeah, you know.
Yep. Did you see Christie's new Impact logo?
Yes. I said it. I commented and said it would make an awesome tattoo. I think the pretty much the answer was it will be. It's just a matter of when.
Perfect.
So, yeah, that looked pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I think Jeffy's little dude would make a nice tattoo.
So are you gonna have a full sleeve at some point?
I like Christy and Devin, and I like Jeffy, but I don't know if I'm getting somebody else's product on me.
Are you gonna get the full tattoo but leave the part so that after you're like the part not tattooed like The Rock or like Roman Reigns, so that you can allow your chest to expand as you go into the gym?
I don't know if you've paid much attention, but The Rock and Roman Reigns really aren't built like me. I'm more of a dad bod, and they're more of physical specimens. But
so that was a non-committal answer.
I want to get a half sleeve on this arm. We'll see how it goes.
All right, perfect. I think that'd be great. Just to incorporate maybe something in the spirit of Fabby would be cool.
I was going to go Crash Course. Straight
Okay.
Crash Course.
All right. There's licensing fees that you can pay, and that'd be fine.
Take it out of my pay. Deduct it week by week.
Oh man, we covered a lot. It's getting
chilly in here.
It is. It's that time of year. I heard the train go through earlier.
It was early tonight.
It was. Yeah, it was early. I don't know if they're trying to beat the storm or maybe the supply chain's fixed. I'm not sure.
I would probably guess breaking these. You're trying to beat the storm. The supply chain is not fixed anytime soon. But.
Melissa has already been on the calculator websites trying to figure out how much snow we're going to get and when it needs to fall. And
in order for her not to have to go to school Monday?
I told you, man, this year has been rough for her.
Yes, I feel very bad for your wife. My dad talked to my nephew, which would be his grandson in Long Island, and they got like 15 inches over the weekend.
Yeah.
I said, you all can keep that down there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, the way weathermen are, I mean, they're predicting somewhere between 0 and 97 inches for this weekend. So,
yep.
You know, we could get nothing. And
there's only 2 jobs I know if you could be right 30% of the time. And one of them gets you in the Hall of Fame. The other's a meteorologist.
Yep. No kidding.
I will say, though, last night, it was late last night. I don't know, did I talk about this? I've been telling everybody that will listen at school today. am so happy. Our neighbor Billy, I don't know if you've ever heard the stories of the antics of
Across the road, Billy?
next door.
Oh, okay.
Right
No,
across the
that's
driveway, Billy. Years ago, he went and filmed with me in Dunkirk. He knew a bunch of the guys out in Dunkirk, outside of the Derby world, and he went out there and ran a camera. And he was just the best neighbor, man, just the best neighbor. And they moved to Houston.
Wow.
For a job. He used to go back and forth to Boston when he was finishing up his engineering stuff, and he worked at 5 Points, and he moved to Houston. And we had all these plans of always getting out of Houston to visit him, and he and Jen, and we never got the chance to. It never came together. It was cost, it was time, it was sitter, whatever the case was. And we just, and then COVID hit, so we never got to travel anywhere for really the last 2 years. And he made a post on Facebook yesterday afternoon and said, "Well, Texas, it's been real. It's my last day here." And we talked, and he got a new job in Rhode Island.
Really?
Yep, he got a new job. He was, I can't even tell you how proud I am of him, because I know how much effort went into him going to school and finishing all that stuff. And he interviewed a couple different places, and he got a job in Rhode Island, and it's like 6 hours away. His family's in Buffalo.
That's awesome.
So it's like a straight shot down 90. So he's so much closer. And I mean, when I found out he was in Rhode Island, I was on MapQuest before I even knew the city. You know, I am super, super
You know,
happy.
I'm tell you the bad news.
What?
Being a husband and father with 2 young kids playing sports, you're not going to get to Rhode Island either. I hate to break your heart, but it just won't work out, man.
Maybe you don't understand. They can have their sports.
I see.
We will find a way at this point. I am so happy that he's going to be back up in the Northeast. And he's a huge fan of Buffalo as a whole. And working in Rhode Island puts him around a lot of Patriots fans. And Billy is such a good ball buster. So as long as he doesn't get himself fired, he's going to be tormenting some Patriots fans.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was some news that came across today. Just really, really excited for him. Not really a Derby guy, but just something that's really cool.
Yeah. It's always, it's really cool to see friends succeed. Like, that's something that, I like you am happy to see my friends succeed and get ahead. So that's always cool.
Fabian, the V8 logo was both done by Shade Gagnon.
Yeah, the tattoo artist. Yep.
Is that any relation to Vern?
Long lost cousin, twice removed.
I got you.
When
Cool.
Vern went through Canada on one of the territories. Did you see Vince?
Errant trip to the Maple Leaf Gardens.
Did
Go
you
on.
see Vince McMahon's mother passed away?
I did not.
101 years old.
Japers. Man, it's a good run.
Good run.
101.
101.
I
Putting up with Vince.
am not going to get anywhere close to that.
You'll probably live to like 118.
Oh my God. I don't want to do that.
But what if at 118 you could still do everything you're doing right now? You still had all your faculties. Obviously, there's going to be a little more wear and tear, but you could still function well and had a good quality of life.
Man, I don't know, because that's sort of the curse of life. Is at some point, all of your friends are going to be gone. You don't want to be the last one left.
But family, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids.
I'm way too miserable. Nobody's coming.
Oh, my gosh. Oh. If that's the case, then I'm really in trouble.
I was thinking that. At least you'll be able to work security.
Yeah. I'll be able to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I can't wait till I'm retired and I can sit on my front porch and just watch vehicles drive up and down the road and think them poor son bitches are going to work.
See, I did not think that that's what you were going to say right
here
there.
I sit.
I thought for sure you're going to be like sit on my front porch, yell at the neighbor kids, screaming, tell everybody to slow down.
No, there's no. The only neighbor kids are mine. So no, there's no neighbor kids out there. But I don't know.
You're clicking off days to retirement, though, aren't you?
Yeah, about 9 years.
How much?
About 9 years, give or take.
Almost there.
And the strange thing though is, like, if I think about it, because when I started at the jail, I started in February and Nick was born in March. So Nick will be 16 or Nick will be 15. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's, you know, in a way, it seems like, man, I can't believe Nick's 15 already. Then I'm like, man, it seems like I've been at the jail. So it's weird. It's, you know, we talk, you know, guys at work, like it doesn't seem like I've been there, you know, we've been there as long as we have. But, you know, it's like this place. It's, you know, I can't believe how long we've been doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like we just started, you know, recently. 386 episodes, not counting live shows and specials and all that crazy stuff.
And that doesn't even touch Final Round. Final Round's going to have episode number 100 coming up the next time. Jason's got a new job as well, and he was out in Chicago, and he's like, we could do it remotely, but I'm like, just get home.
Do you do 31st Lap anymore?
No. 31st lap ran its course. I would resurrect it, but man, I mean,
you had a bunch of guys that took your ideas for online stuff and
I don't have I mean, they.
But that's a different story. You know,
they were able to get the mileage out of it. It's tough to get somebody to drive an hour to Seneca Falls to do this for an hour and a half.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant that like they stole your live stream ideas.
I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily a steal thing.
Chris, you're being modest. You got robbed.
Well, I'm not going to say that Mike stole anything. I'm not going to do that. But certainly, I think I got to learn to hit the brakes on stuff once in a while, so I stop being ahead of the curve.
Have you heard of this thing called Flow Racing?
Yes.
If you would have started Flow Demolition Derby, you could sponsor late models and Indy cars and modifieds.
I had a lot of plans and a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, but it's not necessarily that I was the first person that ever wanted to do it. Dirt Vision was around long before 31st Lap was.
Yeah, Dirt Vision was so hit and miss.
But all of the technology was then.
It was more of a streaming, like somebody at a computer typing in like what was going on. Like, I don't know.
That was the chat rooms, right? But Dirt Vision, because I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, Matt Thomas started that. Matt Thomas got Dirt Vision up and going,
but they didn't.
And they were streaming races. I know they were streaming races.
I don't remember like seeing them though. Like I remember hearing about Dirt Vision.
I don't remember, making it a point to pay-per-view a modified race or a late model race for that matter. Now it's different because it's subscription platform with internet-based TVs, and you can get MAV TV, and you can see the stuff on demand, and there's different avenues to reach it, and it's so much more commonplace. But Dirt Vision, then that ebbed and flowed, and that turned into something over here, and Matt Thomas is still they were doing DVDs for a while, but Matt and Thomas Video and Finger Lakes Race Flicks, they're doing different stuff, and DTD has got a streaming platform, and it's great to have options, it helps keep everybody better, and there's no harm in that.
What do you think?
I did want to do derbies, and we did. I wanted to do races. Now, having done a few races, what a horrible decision. You needed lifts, and you needed just miles and miles.
Did you see that Mel just won an award for one of his productions?
Was that Eastern States? Yeah, he's won a bunch of stuff at EMPA.
And he
got a lifetime achievement award a couple years ago. They did a big spread on him, or it was a Hall of Fame thing. Air Auto Racing News did a big spread on him.
And Mel is not a spring chicken anymore, and he's out there videoing and working his butt off to this day.
And he's very, very good at it.
Yes, he is. He's very good. He was a forerunner. I mean, he was
big time.
He was one of the first guys
doing tapes. Yeah.
My brother's sportsman. I mean, I think my dad has every win my brother's had from sportsman that Mel has been associated with.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
Does he still have a VCR that works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's got some DVDs as well. But yeah, that's my next thing is to find somebody that can convert the tapes to DVDs so we can watch everything. But
we're 4 minutes past. That's something we can talk about in a minute.
Right.
We got to get out of here. All right. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. We hit on a lot of stuff tonight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. We got a little personal and sentimental there as we bantered back and forth, but sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Congratulations out to Dylan Simonton and everybody that picked up wins on the Unified Series, and keep Marcus Hayes and the Tatters family in mind as they're working through that. We sure do appreciate all the support. Get out there and support the people that support Demolition Derby. We'll see you next time.
The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash,
and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.